Poilievre unveils leaked documents alleging Carney's government is concealing critical information from Canadians. This week, a government document was quietly released, forecasting a significant decline in Canadians' quality of life over the next 5 years under the current Liberal government led by Mark Carney. The report painted a bleak picture, highlighting issues such as loss of trust in institutions, financial insecurity, and increased instability. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre seized the opportunity to speak out on Friday, emphasizing how the Liberals attempted to bury this critical report among unrelated documents. Thanks to diligent reporters, the document was uncovered, but when revisited, it had mysteriously vanished, replaced by a 404 error. This disappearance raised eyebrows, especially since other reports on the same site were also missing. Was it merely a glitch? Possibly. However, the timing of this incident has led many to question the government's transparency. By Sunday, the page reappeared, but with a message indicating that maintenance would continue for the coming weeks, coinciding with the lead-up to a major election. As someone with a tech background, I can assert that 404 errors typically do not occur during routine maintenance. A 503 error is more common in such cases. This situation felt like intentional obfuscation, prompting the question, why would the government want to hide this information? The implications of the leaked document are profound. It suggests that under Carney's leadership, Canadians may face increased hardships. Issues such as rising costs of living, stagnating wages, and a lack of affordable housing are critical concerns that resonate with many citizens. The report indicates that these challenges could lead to a further erosion of trust in government institutions, which many Canadians already feel is at a breaking point. As people grapple with their day-to-day realities, the idea that their government is not being forthcoming about the state of the nation is alarming. In a related development, Jasmine Lane released an interview with former Carney associate Desiree Fixler discussing ESG, environmental, social, and governance, and net zero policy. However, within hours, YouTube demonetized her video, citing community guidelines. The content was simply an honest critique of policy, raising concerns about whether holding elites accountable is now considered inappropriate. This incident highlights a troubling trend where content addressing controversial topics is being suppressed under vague policies. The ability to share and discuss diverse viewpoints is essential in a democratic society, and the silencing of voices raises alarms about the health of public discourse. Moreover, this incident shines a light on the broader issue of media freedom and the role of technology platforms in shaping the conversation. If platforms can demonetize or remove content based on ambiguous guidelines, what does that mean for the future of journalism and public debate? Citizens rely on independent voices to challenge the status quo and illuminate issues that may not be on the government's agenda. When these voices are silenced, democracy itself is undermined. Additionally, a National Post article has vindicated Poilievre's decision to refuse obtaining a security clearance. Critics had labeled him irresponsible for this choice, but the article clarified that such a clearance would have imposed a gag order, preventing him from speaking publicly about foreign interference, including the influence of the People's Republic of China, PRC, in Canadian elections. Poilievre had previously passed security clearance as a minister in 2013, making his refusal a principled stand against censorship. In contrast, the Liberals appear more focused on silencing dissent than ensuring accountability. This situation raises critical questions about the nature of political accountability. When politicians are unable to speak freely about important issues due to restrictions, the public is left in the dark. A healthy democracy relies on transparency and the ability to discuss controversial subjects openly. Citizens deserve to know how foreign entities may be influencing their elections and policies. By refusing to engage in the gag order imposed by a security clearance, Poilievre has positioned himself as a defender of free speech and transparency. These 3 stories from this week point to a disturbing pattern. Critical information is being buried, creators are being silenced, and opposition voices are being constrained, both legally and algorithmically. As we approach this pivotal election, Canadians must consider whether to continue down this opaque, censored path or to choose leadership that will restore transparency and sovereignty. The implications of these developments are profound. They raise essential questions about the integrity of our democratic processes and the accountability of those in power. As citizens, we must demand clarity and honesty from our leaders, especially in times of uncertainty. The choice before us is clear. Do we accept a future shrouded in secrecy, or do we advocate for a government that prioritizes transparency and the public's right to know? As the election approaches, it is crucial for Canadians to remain vigilant and informed. The stakes are high, and the future of our democracy depends on our collective ability to hold our leaders accountable. Voter engagement will be more critical than ever, as citizens must educate themselves on the issues at hand and the candidates' positions. Town halls, debates, and community forums will provide essential platforms for dialogue, allowing voters to ask tough questions and demand real answers. Furthermore, the role of social media in this election cannot be overstated. As traditional media outlets face challenges, platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram have become vital for information dissemination and grassroots organizing. However, with the recent trends of content suppression, citizens must be discerning about the sources they trust and the narratives they amplify. Supporting independent journalism and alternative media can help counteract the mainstream narrative and bring attention to overlooked issues. Ultimately, this election will be a test of Canadians' commitment to democratic principles. Will we choose to engage in meaningful discourse, hold our leaders accountable, and demand transparency? Or will we allow ourselves to be swept along by a tide of misinformation and censorship? The decision rests with each one of us. As we head to the polls, let us remember the importance of our voices in shaping the future of our country. Together, we can advocate for a government that respects our right to information and fosters an environment where all voices can be heard. The call for transparency is not merely a political stance. It is a demand for the very essence of democracy itself.